What's up, people? This is Kwame Solstice, Black Hebrew Jesus, here with a video after the holidays, about the holidays. Um, just thought I might do a quick talk about the holidays, as in Christmas. I know I'm a little late after New Year's here, but just had some thoughts about the holiday, about what about the season that just passed, about the ritual that we all do every year, just to bring consciousness to what we do. And one thing that we are in this society is we do what I call a lot of unconscious things. Like, we're doing things and we don't know the real reason why we're doing them. And that's where we get into unconsciousness. And consciousness comes to being aware of the truth of why we do things, and who we are and things like that. And that's what consciousness is all about, is coming to that realization that we are of a higher divinity inside. And I'm not gonna get into that today, but it's coming to realizations and coming to consciousness and awareness of what we are, where we are, what we're doing, and why we're here, and answering all the deep questions. And once you do that, you become conscious, you become aware, you actually change. Life changes, everything changes around you. You begin to go on a spiritual path upwards. But just to talk about the holiday now, Christmas. Now we got to talk about an esoteric thing. This is you find these in some occult books, esoteric books, things like that, about what's behind certain symbols, religions, rituals, things of that nature. So today I'm going to talk about Christmas, the story of Christ, and what Christ really means biologically, and how it relates to spirituality and so forth, and consciousness, and Santa Claus, or what we call Saturnalia. So first I want to say this, that there was a group of ancient Hebrews, they're called ancient Essenes, who and I found this out, actually what they did was they took the bodies of their members who actually went through some of the rituals they did, to see, like, scientifically, how did it affect their bodies. And what they found was this white substance, what they called Christ, what the Greeks called, then changed into Christos. And there's this fluid that, once your pineal gland is open, pineal, which I will relate to pine needle, which relates to Christmas, Santa Claus. But I get to that in a second. So once the pineal gland is opened, and there's a lot of research on the pineal gland, even the United States government has done research on the pineal gland, and especially after Vietnam, which I'll talk about. I'm going to talk about all this stuff. I'm going to break it down because I'm a researcher. I study a lot. I research and read, and you wouldn't believe some of the things I got into. So I'm going to get into breaking down a lot of different things. America, what it does, what it all means, everything. And also breaking down some spiritual things. Everything we can think of on Faith Deconstructed. I am coming out with I guess I call it ministry, but ministry of knowledge and wisdom and education of esoteric things and historical things, just going over everything, breaking down everything. That's kind of what I'm doing. So spirituality is included in that, but also other things as well, so we can get an understanding of the truth. So saying all this, they pretty much found that there was a secretion of a white substance that came forth from the pineal gland, and this substance flowed down your spine, 33 degrees, or 33, we get into Freemasonry. It went down 33, down your 30 vertebrae, down to your base sacrum, your base area, where we get the sacral, or the base root chakra, sacral chakra, that area there. And this fluid will go right down there to the tip of the spine, and it will sit there for 3 days. And after 3 days, it will go back. It will ascend back up into the medulla oblongata, into a place where it forms a cross, or there's two other glands. I forget the name of it. It actually forms a cross when it ascends back up into the back into the pineal gland. It goes down the spine to the base of the spine, and then ascends back up to form a cross inside the pineal gland. And what happens once your pineal gland is open, and once over time the pineal gland becomes a crystallized pine cone. It's actually emerald green. This is how you know you have Christ biologically. So the story of Jesus, which is the death, resurrection, and ascension, is represented inside the story, or inside the biology of the pineal gland opening, and the secretion called the Christos. Like oil, it flows all the way down your base of your spine, comes back up, and then your eyes open. This is the actual process that happens inside of it. And this is what the story of Christ, or the story of Jesus, is all about. Actually, the esoteric, I'm gonna say the biology they tied it, because that's how they taught ancients. They taught people through these little stories, and it's through these stories that they laid out even this deep, complicated biological things that relate to spiritual things, that relate to physical things, and everything. So that is the story represents that activity in the body. Once someone's pineal gland is open, once your third eye is completely open and you have Christ, it changes you inside, and it's actually a secretion that goes down from the pineal gland all the way down to your base and back up again, and it is what it causes your ascension internally. Now, let's talk about how it relates to Santa Claus. Now, the pineal gland is based in the claustra, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where we get the name Santa Claus, okay? So the Santa Claustra, right? So when we have this character, he represents something in what's called Saturnalia. Now, Saturnalia is based on Saturn. Now Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Now, this is where we get into astrological as well, in terms of Christmas, in terms of this whole thing. Saturn is over Capricorn in December, right? So in December 21st, or December 20th, the sun dies, and then it died for 3 days, and it resurrects on the 25th. So it dies on 21st, 3 days dead, resurrects on the third day. If I said that right. So this is representation of the sun dying and rising, and Saturn being ruler over Capricorn. So this is what Saturnalia is all about. Death of the sun, Capricorn reigns over December. Now, when Saturn comes, the great interesting thing about it is, in Saturnalia, when Saturn comes, he's looking to see who's naughty, who's been nice, who's basically been good, who's basically been bad. It represents the same thing. It's coming down. They call it it's coming down the chimney, which is the 33 vertebrae, down to the base down to either bring you gifts if you've been good, or it will bring you some type of punishment, or something that's not expected or wanted from the person when Saturn comes during that time, based on the actions of the person. So this is where it gets interesting. They merge the two. They merge Saturnalia and this Christ process that happens from the pineal gland. So this we get the pine needle, the pine tree, the star on top is the third eye, or the light that comes on, the star that comes on, and basically the light comes down and shines on the pineal gland, the pine needle. So it's very important that you understand that that's what it's all about. But the Saturnalia part is where you get that mix. Now, some more on the Saturnalia before I forget. Saturn is Satan as well, and also Santa is coming to see if you've been good or bad. So that is the interesting addition to the whole mixture there of the two. And this is where you get this whole idea of Christmas, is you get the pine tree, which is about the pine needle, pine tree, and then you get a entire story of Christ added to that, as the birth of Christ. When Christ is born, I forgot to mention that part. When Christ is born, that's that process beginning. Christ coming on, and over time, pineal gland opening and becoming crystallized, and you becoming basically a Christ, or like Christ, once that process takes place. So very interesting thing that I learned over time, especially reading some of these books and understanding some of these symbols, is that they pretty much, for this holiday season, when we understand this, we understand why this stuff exists, why we're doing things the way that we're doing. Once we get to this level of consciousness, we can engage with Christmas a little bit differently, and we can decide if we want to do this or if not. But it's important that the reason I want to give this brief talk about Christmas and what it really means with Saturnalia and the actual biological processes happens inside the body once you find Christ, or once you actually have Christ. This is the actual biological process based on the ancient Essene teachings, that this happens in the body, and it causes a complete transformation inside of the individual, so much so that they basically become divine in the body. So this is a quick breakdown. It's Kwame Slice, Black Hebrew Jesus here, just to come back for a quick breakdown after I took a long break from doing videos, as I kind of revamp after some unfortunate circumstances. So I'm revamping, and I'm going to start doing more breakdowns of stuff like that, like I just did in other videos. So stay tuned. Understand why we do things the way we do, become aware, become conscious. Then from that space, we can make better decisions. Regardless of if you disagree with these type of things, it's just good to know and understand that these are ideas out here that help us become, more informed about life as well. So this is all about awareness, all about consciousness. That's all I talk about, is becoming aware, becoming conscious, talking about things from a different perspective. So stay tuned. Y'all be blessed. I'm out. Peace.